The most grateful people on earth, they're karmically never bound to anything. They're always moving up in life. Gratitude is a superpower, and I don't mean it in a, like, you know how people say it, like, oh, I'm trying to be religious, I'm saying it like it's a scientifically, through anthroposophy, proven superpower that you'll meet some people in life that they don't work that much on their intelligence, they don't work on their their skills and talents that much, but because they're super grateful, they just, life is more lubricated for them, and they're open to the world of spirit. And if you don't know what the world of spirit is, like, what does he mean when he talks about spirituality? Because it's not like these, I'm battling really everyone on the internet who just made a mockery of spirituality. Spirituality is living thinking. Sometimes you'll catch yourself in states of living thinking, not dead thinking, not identified thinking, but you'll observe outside of your thinking true living beings. And this can happen in a state of love. It could happen when you're with your nephew. It could happen when you're with your mom, friends, whatever, but you'll be hit with these waves, and that's a good way to explain it. They are waves, and your instinct is, oh dude, I want to stay here, this feels great, this feels like I'm 10 years old again playing my video games, and the house is all busy with my cousins running around and shit. And these waves, believe it or not, are the first steps to moral imagination. There's other steps involved, but if you ever want to look in the world, there's a lot of people who say, "Man, Zherka, I got millions. I want to show you millions of my crypto account. I'll buy all of your notes." And I'm like, "Bro, you have millions and millions of dollars. I will gladly take your money, right? I'll further my incarnation." Seems like, what the fuck are you doing with those millions and millions of crypto? You're doing nothing, right? And it's crazy to me that, like, there's people out there that think, oh, I have Circa's notes, I have his material. Now I can access living thinking and the world of spirit, right? Or the first, how we say, layer, because you should really see it as degrees. Think of 1 billion degrees up into the spiritual, into the sunlight, and you're supposed to go 1 degree at a time. You're going to have waves where you go many more degrees up, and sometimes it'll feel like pain. You'll go down, but it's a releasing, it's a balancing, it's a tension. That's why a lot of people message me about Brandon Buckingham, and he's sick and all of his organs are failing and stuff. And I'm like, you cannot judge someone karmically. If someone in your life, karmically has a bunch of disease come out of nowhere, because just look at your skin and your face. When you hold in lies, when you hold in pain, when you hold in stress, no doctor's going to tell you this, because let me tell you this, man, doctors are satanic. By satanic, I mean they fall under harmonic forces that are cold and calculative. They don't have the full truth, because the full truth cannot just be cold. It cannot just be hot. It's in the middle. That's what the soul is, the warmth ether. There's a science to this, man. And I'm telling you right now, the doctor's not going to tell you all this shit, but there's different forces in the world that you're not going to realize until it's too late, are pushing you in better directions. Now, what I meant by Brandon Buckingham catching diseases and stuff is, look at your skin on your face. You hold in stresses, pimples will come out. So everything inside gets turned inside out, will push out of your face. That's the same with karmas. It doesn't mean you can judge someone's karmas as good or bad. If I randomly got a disease like, pray for Brandon Buckingham, but this YouTuber who just has a bunch of organ failures out of the blue, right? Just a healthy young guy, and then boom, all this hits him. You cannot make, like, a lot of people are hitting me up saying, "Oh, Zerka, now that I understand some of your I bought your notes and I understand Brandon deserved it. He was just a moral piece of shit." And it's like, no, I'm pretty sure he was just as much of a piece of shit as you or I. I mean, you look at the average guy in personality and temperament. You can find a lot of flaws in the human, but you'll notice that there are a lot of your flaws too. So that's why I say, I'm like, Immediately when you get into seeing the world for what it is, you get spooked and think, "Oh, I'm doing everything wrong. Like everything, every thought I have is evil." But no, you look outside into the world, and there's a lot of balancing forces of good. So, for example, when I say never judge a human that is going through a maybe maybe their liver is failing, right? You can never say their liver is failing because they were a bad person in their last occurrence, their last lifetime, and or they did something in this lifetime that they held as a secret, and now it's spawning out of him, and it's like, dude, sometimes we die in the world as a balancing act that is good for us. There's no such thing as a random death. Don't be a fucking idiot. If you ever see someone dying, it doesn't mean they were a bad person. Okay? 9 times out of 10, it's always a good thing what's happening in the soul's history. So a lot of people have died rougher deaths, diseases, and all that. But when you zoom out into that soul's journey, that's exactly what needed to happen for their next transformations. And you got to remember that the transformations that I talk about on earth are very different from the transformations on the other side. And a lot of people who are getting really into this stuff, they're like, "Holy shit! I've been waiting 3 years. You said you're gonna drop everything, and now what the fuck? I feel like I'm seeing the whole world." When I get messages from people saying, "When I'm downtown, I just look at people and they're unconscious. They don't know what the fuck they're doing." And it's like, bro, relax. There's people who master gratitude in the world, and they don't really need these notes. I'm sure you guys have, someone here will have a grandmother or an aunt that's just she's angelic. She always eats the same amount of food and she always wakes up at the same exact time. And she's just like a predictable, old, beautiful soul that never steps on no one's toes. She masters gratitude. She's usually very healthy and all that. But if you think you could go out in the world like Gary, like these guys who have horrible karma, like you look at someone like Gary, right? Yeah, he could be my best friend today. I'll still tell him to his face, like just horrific. Anyone who's ever saying, "Yeah, I've got all the universe's answers," is, it's funny they say that. It's funny that they make shit up on the spot all the time, but eventually it's gonna come back as karmic knots in him, and he's not really someone you can tell that to, right? There's gonna be a lot of people in your life you meet that you're like, "Oh shit." The way you structure your inner body, you take people down with you, you're clearly really fucked up internally, right? And you can tell them that it's not going to change them, right? You can show someone all the information in the world. I can sit down and do a video about the mysteries of nature, the mysteries, the riddles of reality. I can speak about all that. Maybe one out of a million people will gain something from that, because guess what? Until you experience shit firsthand, you're not shook. So a lot of you guys don't realize what the word shook means. It's like, yeah, your soul's going to get a shock. It's going to get shook when you see beyond the veil. Some of you guys are going to oopsie daisies find out fucking around with drugs. Some of you guys are going to do whatever the fuck. Some of you guys are going to have horrific tragedies that happen to you, and that's going to shock your soul. But I'm telling you right now, as much as you love video games, playing video games and leveling up your character, you don't know how fun life is going to be when you're leveling up your soul, when you're doing soul architecture on earth correctly. Because I guarantee you, all those Christians that secretly do stuff behind the scenes because they're human, not because they're evil or anything, but they don't know what they do. I guarantee you they're not having a shred of fun compared to me. I guarantee you that everyone you know in your life doesn't really go anywhere. Now, of course, living on Earth up until 72 years old, let's say every decade, is an etheric bundle of nerve unfolding, chakras, all that. Yeah, there's a benefit to going through life, even if it's unconscious. There's I would say there's a tremendous benefit. It just doesn't compare to being active and conscious. I think it's like I would compare it and like an ant to hmm, an ant to a skyscraper, which is really the difference from a human to an angel in size, right? And that's just the first level of angel, right? But I'm telling you right now that most people you see in society, they are ants, and they're not going to be anything but ants, and they're always going to be stuck in their ways, and they are going to unfold for themselves what they can do passively, right? Like just digesting food for 70 years. That's a path too, right? That's a path everyone does. Um, Versus like some yogi who's really high level, and let's say he's not intellectually raised in the West, so he has an easier time with the rhythmic path, the hard path. Um, Westerners would be more like thinking path. Mm, Whatever it is, people unfold in different ways, in creative ways. That is the mystery of life, is that it is an initiation, unconsciously to a high degree, but when it becomes conscious, everything is going to be like the Matrix to you. Not like these fucking numerologists who, I'll just say it, are going to spend a long time in hell, right? In purification. Theirs is going to be a lot long. You can't just tell millions of people, I made 100,000 people billionaire. You can't just bold face lie to people, right? Like Zherka might laugh, but there might be some fucking 8-year-old who actually believes that and spends their money on that fucking shit. And it's like, bro, these people come up to me like, yo, you're my friend, so push numerology. I'm like, bro, that's not how this works. It's like, I will push you as a person, as entertainment, but I will never co-sign you as telling the truth. I will never push Sneeko as telling the truth when Sneeko's how do we say, a professional liar. I don't mean like he gets up and tries to lie. I mean like last year he's red pill. This year he's whatever the fuck, Islamic pill. The pill transforms way too much, way too much. And he thinks it's like this, there's this illusion of I'm progressing at a rapid pace. No, you can see when a human's soul is unfolding. If you don't know what I mean by that, is go watch a Logan Paul impulsive vlog before the Japan thing, after the tragedy, and then after Hollywood cancels him and he has to like really start from the beginning around COVID. And you can see a lot of maturity in the face, completely changes from kind of kiddish happy to shocked to shook for years and building from the bottom. And that's not a dig at Logan. That's like, look at your faces, right? You can pull up photos of you growing up and you'll notice, oh, wow, around this age, this time, I had something happen to me that matured my face. And I don't mean like just changes how it looks. I mean like there's a deepness in the eyes. You can see condensed, like crystallized pain in the human's face. And that's what I mean by a step up in unfolding. And that's going to keep happening. A lot of people get nervous, like that's going to happen in many different ways. But, sorry, but it's not going to happen in many different ways. Like, for example, these guys who get really nervous and, sorry, I'm turning that off. Okay, these guys who get really nervous and think it's going to be a bumpy ride like 21 to 28, right? The big 21 to 28. This is not numerology. Don't ever confuse it with that shit. Don't ever mix my name up with that shit. I love laughing about numerology. I love saying it's my skunk year. I love running game on women with numerology. I love every kind of ask. Oh, you're a Capricorn. You should definitely bend over. And that's hilarious. And looping back to what I'm saying, this is a really, really good, important call because I'm actually looping everything back to what I started this with. People think that I'm some grateful guy. I practice gratitude, but I'm not that grateful, right? Like you can tell, yo, this guy really wants a YouTube channel. He wants like 700 million views on TikTok and all that. And it's like, but what did he do with it? Where is Zherka? Why doesn't he post YouTube videos? Why does he just disappear? And then you go, damn, that's an ungrateful mother. If you talk to my twin brother, my older brother, they look at me like they're shocked. They're like, what? Isn't that what you wanted? I'm like, yeah, I got it. And they're like, whoa, you can just get fully satisfied like that? Like, that's it? And I'm like, no, I still want to do YouTube and stuff. I still want to post videos and stuff. I just don't want to go over my unfolding. Yeah, I don't want to block my unfolding because I find that really that's like a sneak position of great work ethic, great journalism, and all that, the stuff he is good at. But you could tell the guy hasn't changed for like 3 fucking years. I think Logan Paul unfolded way quicker than him, matured way more than him, like maybe 50 years of maturity over Sneeko. That's retarded. Like, you remember, you're either downloading MTV, whatever the fuck's on TV, or TikTok, or God forbid, streamers. Like, is there one streamer we actually respect? Or is it like, whoa, I don't want to be like those guys? Those guys look like they're headed for some serious problems, right? Like, imagine being Aiden Ross. You got like $150 million and your girl cheats on you. And all, like, you can't even hold it down. You look in the mirror, you see like a bearded boy. That's like terrifying shit. It's not like a money thing for men. It really isn't. Look in the mirror and you'll be like, whoa, it's not really a money thing. Gary has a bit of money. Does anyone want to be Gary? Let me call the downstairs and let them know. Hold on. They're gonna kick me out this bitch. Okay, calling front desk. Hello, my nigga. It's not even beeping. Hold on, guys. Yeah. Hi, is this front desk? Yeah, I have a checkout today. The name is Zherka. I'm wondering if I can be an hour late because I'm packing up my stuff because there was the kind of like, water and stuff. And so checkout's at 11, correct? Oh, it's 12. I'm early. I'm early. Oh, perfect. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. This is a trick. If you overemphasize what you're saying in an extremely white posture, they will want to hang up the call. If you talk to someone with that much down pressure, like think of no, that's too complicated. Simple. 2026, keep it simple. If you talk to the front desk lady like that, with that much enthusiasm, oh really? Oh, so I'm early. I actually knew that, but I didn't want to say it. This is the highest level of manipulation because that down pressure, no front desk can handle. So they'll always say, yeah, you can have 2 more hours with no late fee. But if you pick up that call and say, hi, I'm running a little late for my checkout. I have to go to my other hotel with the oceanic view, baby. If you talk like that, they say, well, it's at 11 or else there's a fee. Dude, I'm telling you, a lot of people think I get a lot of stuff done in the business world because I'll do an aggressive handshake and yell in people's faces like I'm on crack. Yeah, I do that a lot, but I'm telling you right now, it's not always the Trump move. Bro, when you shake the front desk hand, you say, thank you, and your name, sir? And they say, well, my name's Ted. And you go, Ted, Ted what? And they freak out because you want the last name, and they go, Teddy Daniels. Teddy Daniels! Okay, and now immediately that employee cannot overcharge you. If you say someone's incarnated name to them, humans hate hearing their own names. That's why all of you listening to this have a nickname. You gave yourself, your buddies call you something else. You have like 10 different names. This is a deep CIA secret. Now check this out. The more enthusiasm and pressure you add, plus repeating their name to their face with eye contact, I mean sexual eye contact, right in their grill, the more confident you are when you do this, every human goes unconscious. This can be considered evil, I'm not going to lie, but I'm just telling you how I live my life. for the little stuff. I don't like to get overcharged. I'm a cheap Albanian, right? We Albanians can get a little cheap sometimes. No, I just spend money, bro. But check this out. When you say someone's incarnated name fully back to them twice, they immediately hear you saying that name to their supervisor or boss. You become a Karen archetypal energy. That is such an ugly energy, especially if they're dealing with, oh, today's a hard day. My girl's texting me. My boss is on my ass. Humans already have pressure on them. So when you add, oh, so your name is Teddy Daniels. Fantastic. They go, that Zherka guy is not forgetting my name. If I fuck up anything with his hotel reservation, he's gonna fuck me over. He looks like he has enough energy for 10,000 phone calls with my boss. So immediately you'll see their posture go straight, just like yours. They'll mimic yours in an unconscious way. Very bad. Like I'm telling you, game is game. Whatever, bro. You guys are my people. Yeah, I hate doing these because the leaks is. I always regret these fucking leaks. But this is. I'm just telling you. If it's happening to you, you'll know. Um, Most of you go to the front lobby or an employee or the fucking get your car maintenance done and you get ripped off. Why? You're not using a human's incarnated name, and they have block names. People have different work names. Did you know that? There's a lot of places who do that. There's a lot of places that shorten their name. Dude, you need their full name. They will shit their fucking pants. It's kind of like, think about, I'm working as a nightclub bouncer. I'm already in trouble with the owner a bit. There's Zherka, you're a little wild. We don't want to fire you, but what the fuck, bro? I'm already in trouble, right? I don't want to get cut. I don't want to lose 3 weeks at work, stuff like that. Some dude comes to the ropes and says, John Zherka, you're John Zherka. Yes, I'm at table 6. This is my group. There's another limo right here. Thank you, Zherka. Is Neil here? Is the CEO here? Is Immediately when I hear John Zherka, not that we use our names, but if that were to happen to me, and I don't know the guy, he's not my friend. Immediately, my first posture is, fucking snitch. This guy's a fuck. He has my name because he's a snitch. Now I have to be a little less cocaine on the shift, shit like that. Hello? Are you talking to me? I know you're not talking to me. Chat. There's this pet peeve of mine. Why am I saying chat? I have this pet peeve of humans who get taken advantage of, which hotels do that all the time, especially if you're not paying attention. In 2026, you should pay attention to every little detail, right? This is the year to do that. But check this out now. Never let society take advantage of you. Never. Even if you have to posture into, a, we'll say a Karen, the way I do it is a little too manipulative. I always feel guilty enough where I have to leak it on stream. Anytime I do something wrong, my logic is, if I say it out loud and the whole world has something on me, they can just keep repeating, this guy's a piece of shit for doing that to the front desk. Not that it's not a piece of shit thing to do in the modern world, but in the esoteric, it's a very big piece of shit move, because it's like, is it that important that you get another hour in your towel in the hotel? And it's like, yeah, it is important. If I'm never the guy who wants to leave on time. If my checkout's, let's say, 11, I gotta check out at 2, my nigga, or else I get really turned off. I've always been like that, where it's like, yo, what the fuck, bro? I just got here. I despise society, man. When you see just masks and personas running around, you're like, dude, you can't even fight them, because they're just gonna snap out of it one day, and then they're gonna be healthy. So it's kind of like they're in an illness mode. Like, a lot of people don't realize, why do Bodhisattva masters, why does the Christ, why does, I'm not saying that they're on the same level ever. Fuck New Age. Don't ever confuse that. I'm never saying that. But I'm saying the people who are aspiring to go up the ladder, why do you think they were never angry at humans murdering each other in Colosseums in Rome and shit like that? Why were they always forgiving? Why were they always? Because they knew they're deeply unconscious. It's like being under a spell. You can't really hate. If your dad is under a spell to kill people, if your mom, if your family members, people, that's how the Christ sees us. If your family is under a spell where they're murdering people, they're in their Ted Bundy mode, you're not going to hate them. You know, you're going to be deeply sympathetic, and you're going to deeply do, in any sort of way, try and get them back into awareness, right? Because you don't want them lifetime after handicap, after this, after that, tragedy, until what? Until they're not even evolving. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be here that long. So,
Zherka,
yeah, hit me.
you're very gifted when it comes to, and you've changed my life with your when you spoke about meditation. And there was a tweet a long time ago that you wrote out about the rosary. I can't remember what it said, but I wanted to ask you about that and how meditating on the mysteries of the Passion and stuff like that compared to, I guess, normal meditation.
Yeah, I think the tweet about the rosary is that it's much more old than you think. It's much more powerful than you think. It goes into pre-Atlantean times. It's way bigger than what some dumb Catholic or dumb Christian tells you about. Excuse me, a dumb Catholic will tell you about, because there's a lot of Catholics who are like, well, it's about 2,000 years of history and that's it. And it's like, no, dude, everything involving the Christ is much older than that, much more powerful than that. It's nothing of what you've got esoteric Christians who are idiots. They say Jesus was just a master. You're going to burn. You're a fucking idiot. Right? I don't mean in hell and stuff like that. I'm just saying in life, you're going to get torched by that kind of thinking. You're an idiot, right? Then you got the other side that say, well, he's only God for the last 2,000 years. And no, there's so much more human history that all Catholic prayers are tied to. These are cosmic prayers, dude. These are so much more powerful than just this, oh, 2,000 years. This is way deeper than that. Okay. And you look at any clairvoyant investigation in history, right? Short ones, deep ones, they all talk about that. Like, whoa, as much as there's fossilization happening with the Catholic Church and a lot of just ritual and that kind of stuff, which is great, but it's like people are, it's kind of like if you receive the Eucharist, but you're unconscious when you do it, it's going to have a, it's going to be good, but it's not going to be the same. You want to participate in ritual consciously. That's where you get most of the benefit, right? And I'm here to tell people that it's like, yeah, I can critique the Catholic Church all day, but at the end of the day, it's like this is linked to every clairvoyant in history. They all talked about, whoa, all of human history is like seen through Catholic history. That's all of human history, everything. Before, before the Catholic Church, middle, during, and after, everything is linked to the Christ. And I don't want people to think that this is like a fashion statement, right? I don't want people. There's going to be a lot of there's a lot of stupid Protestants who say, "You got to accept Christ, or else." And it's like, no, the Catholics are actually right that if someone's on an island and they don't receive any scripture, but they're a good person on that island, they've got a great chance on earth evolution. That's everything Catholics say, even the stuff that they nobody can interpret anymore. Like, for some reason, people love to say like the turn the other cheek. Turn the other cheek is not talking about some like physical fight you're in, or else it would contradict the whole Old Testament and everything. And it's like, bro, we're not abolishing the old law. What the hell are you talking about? And I'm not just saying that just to win an argument against some like Muslims online. I don't even want to talk to them about that. I'm saying that the turn the other cheek is literally talking about when you're being karmically tied to someone. For example, have you ever beefed someone, maybe your buddy, and you're like, I don't want to get into an argument with Ted because it's going to be in my head all day, and then you get in an argument with them on the group chat, and then it ruins your whole week. Humans never talk about this, by the way, that it reverberates. There's so much guilt with that argument. It reverberates through time, and you're linked, sometimes even months. Sometimes it flashes in your head years later, an argument you had with someone that is torture. Now, in initiation science, you want to avoid as much of that as possible. I know what a lot of you guys are thinking. You're like, but I argue with people online all day. Unfortunately, you guys are one step away from suicide. If you're just a hateful person online, as much as you like benefit the streamers and me and Nick and stuff defending us, you're you're going to see your flame of consciousness diminish until until you have suicidal thoughts. This is what a lot of people don't talk about. How many hateful people, and I'm not saying this to get less hate comments, right? I don't even get karmically linked with people. I lock most of my comments. I focus on my incarnation task. I do what Logan Paul does, right? Like just get on to the next task. What Tucker Carlson does. I don't, I like to get confused sometimes, but not, it's rare. It's rare, especially at my age. Like that shit can get old so fast. But you can live life where you're a chatter who is super linked to arguments online. And I had one chatter freak out on me. He's like threatening to kill me because he couldn't take that tweet I made where I said, "Hey, I'm not saying this like, oh, stop hating on me. I can't even see your comments. So I'm not saying this for me. Okay. I'm not saying this as, how there's always a broadcaster who tries to outsmart the audience. Like you'll see poke me and say, well, if you talk shit about me, that says something about you. And she hopes that the hate mail will get smaller. No, that's not how it works. You can't just tell people, hey, stop hating, and they stop. They actually go even harder, right? So I'm not telling you guys, oh, Zherka's trying to throw me off hating, or Zherka's giving me a Christian message. Maybe he's saving my soul by telling me I shouldn't hate people online all day. I'm like, bro, it's neither of those. I'm telling you, you're gonna be karmically linked, right? You don't even have to talk about other lifetimes and focus on one lifetime, bro. It's gonna reverberate, just like that argument with your buddy. It's going to reverberate through time. It's going to take all the joy out of your life. The more of these you have, the more you're going to see them like ripples of water in your life that you cannot stop. Now, here's the terrifying news. What do you tell a chatter who's been a chatter for 7 years? Are they too far gone? And I want to tell you right now, man, I'm always on the side of the hope pill. I think that's what a leader is. But if there's ever a time where you look in the mirror and say, holy shit, nothing is going to pull me out of this situation. If you ever want a darkness in your life where God doesn't even exist for the moment, it's becoming a professional hater. There's a lot of guys who get like a lot of followers being a professional hater. And I mean like professional hate, where everything is cynical, everything is, and you're going to be shocked at how much of your astral fabric gets ripped, your imaginative process. And it's going to be, some of you guys will hit me up and say, hey, 7 years passed and I haven't enjoyed one movie in 7 years. And as much as I want to say, hey, just go to Christ and do that, nope, nothing. There's no solution to that. It's the darkest place you can be when you have calcified your mind. When you crystallize it that hard, you are in such a dark place. Imagine you're getting 50,000 followers on an anonymous account shitting on people. Imagine you're benefiting in society doing that. Now, how do you stop? Imagine you get your bills paid by doing that. How do you stop? Imagine if you lose attention because you're not involved in these mini battles. How- There's so many dark satanic forces linked to bad karma. There's great creations in karma, but I'm talking about bad karma. Holy shit, just study when you argue with your buddy and or your mom or your friend or whatever, and it reverberates in time and tortures you. And you're gonna be like, oh shit, I'm carrying things from 7 years ago, but it's even worse. It's much worse than that. You're going to be carrying a lot of baggage. And if you ever want to see this baggage in person, go to Walmart, look at human beings' faces. You'll see a lot of emotional baggage on their face. You're going to find that most people in the store are ugly, and they're not ugly because God is cruel, right? It's because they're shriveled up away from the light, and they've collected a lot more baggage going further away from the light. Now, here's the cool thing is the darker you go in life, the further away you go from the light. Believe it or not, like I got people message me, Zherka, I have an astral body issue. My desire body is way too it's just too ravenous. It's too hungry. I want this. I want women. I want money. I want. Uh, I hate my incarnation. I have way too much desire. I'm somewhat successful, but I have way too much burning desire for things, and it feels like tentacles, right? And that's what it looks like etherically, right? Or astrally, it looks like tentacles, right? And I'm like, dude, everything you're telling me that, hey, you want to commit suicide because your desire body is too strong for lust, pride, greed, all this stuff. Before you kill yourself, let me tell you someone else who had an insane appetite, desire body. Me. And I still have it. And the only person I know who has a larger one, Alexander the Great. His desire body was so large he killed his best friend and deeply regretted it. But he also worked with the will of God and brought order to the world that was in chaos. That was for and by spirit. But you see how having a deep, strong desire body, as torturous as it is, it can be transformed much better to much higher heights than someone that's more in the middle path. That's why you see a 28-year-old guy get their shit together. Their flame is like a blowtorch, it's perfect right in the middle. But you see a 20-year-old kid who's just in the middle path, for some reason, it's not that big of a flame. And that's what the prodigal journey is, that you're going to accumulate clay, shadow, and then you're going to mold that clay, all those shadow forms, into something greater. Don't ever for once think these gay little fucking quotes online are correct, right? There's a lot of quotes that say, you can't serve two masters. It's like, dude, look at the sun and the moon. Okay? You're in the middle point of evolution, you idiot. Just look up in the sky and see where they're at. You're in the middle point of evolution. That literally means middle. So guess what? You're going to go to your day job and develop an esoteric practice, develop your mind, your body, your spirit. You're going to do both. Don't ever think, well, if my job doesn't work out for me, I'm just going to go be a monk in the mountains because I can't serve two masters. I might as well just pick one. You're a fucking idiot. You incarnated in a city for a reason. I talk to city people the most, right? If you're in the city, you're there for a reason. You have a daytime task, right? And running parallel to that should be your development. Now, check this out. After a few months of listening to me speak right now, ask yourself, okay, from a few months ago, last call I heard Zherka, and have I unfolded? Ask yourself.
Yeah,
There you
100%.
go. That you can see your own unfolding as the months go by. You don't need anyone in the you don't have to second guess yourself, say my desire body's too strong, I want to commit suicide. Are you retarded? It the more
You can just
the
do
more
anything you actually want to
the
do all
more
the time.
lustful you are, the more greedy you are, the more there is to transform. And check this out, both personalities have to fuse. That, when Sonny Faz obliterated one side of himself, the YouTube side, to suck camel cock, that's not how spirituality works. That's actually how you resent God. Okay? Because that's like saying, hey, Lord, I've done up until 30 years old, I've built this personality and now I have to discard it to become a saint. It's like, who 8 billion people on earth do not, the 8 billion
Yeah.
people on earth do not do that. And they don't even individuate when they do that. That's like a very old rhythmic heart chakra practice that nowadays, the most individuated would be the doctor who does his fucking job and the surgeon who saves lives. That guy would be the most individuated in society, right? Or the
Yeah.
engineer who's not obstructed by religion, but he'll be curious about it. He'll live a righteous life. Or the
Yeah, my dad is someone who always says, "I don't want to get deep. I don't want to get deep," but I feel like that shuts you off to so much.
I'll say this, man. The superficial part of your life that's online, on Twitter, on these apps, it will be balanced by your spiritual side. But if your spiritual side just takes over 100%, you will notice that you're discarding 10 years work on your personality. You've built
Amen.
up humor to bring to the world that you're discarding like Sonny. That's not how it works. Now, do you keep the personality? No, you don't be sneako, right? You have to integrate both sides. The third thing that comes out of that will be your what when I give Sneeko advice on one-on-one calls, I'll be like, that's your Malcolm X state, right? The middle of the two sides, right? So a lot of people don't realize that it's like you're not going you're gonna build a shadow if you don't get world experience, which by definition means sin, you fucking idiot. You really
Yeah,
think you're gonna get
it's you give
you
in to temptation and for as many times as you want, and you resist it for as long as you want.
you, yeah,
Because I get enjoyment out of resisting and enjoying.
okay. I'm saying you're not going to go out in the world and be sinless. You're going to make huge, huge errors, mistakes, and
But that's fun.
that part is it. It shouldn't be seen fun as like, oh, this is addictive. I'm addicted to making mistakes, but it should be fun like I'm getting the mistakes out of the way. This is great. I'm getting
Exactly.
the mistakes out of the way.
You're breaking through a new pathway.
Yeah, and it's like, don't ever for once think the world is that cruel where you have organs that you're ignoring, you're not using. Do you really think God is that cruel? He'll stick you in a city life and you're going to avoid city life to be spiritual. Are you an idiot?
No, I'm out in city life all the time.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let me just stop that for a sec.
Yo, Zherka, can you hear me?
Yeah, hit me.
By the way, love what you're doing, man. You introduced me to like all the esoteric psychology stuff, but obviously
I
I don't
love
want to.
hearing, I love hearing that more than anything. Do you know why? I know those people who are at higher levels of consciousness who cannot just listen to a talking snake story. So I know exactly what the adult male is starving for, like a medieval perspective. And so when I get messages like that, I'm like, oh, it's actually someone who deepened their faith scientifically. They didn't just abandon science. Those are,
Oh
those
yeah.
are the best kind of souls.
Oh yeah. And so I guess I'm in like a unique situation where I'm like a TikToker and I managed to like get a bunch of followers and make
How
like a
long have
bunch
you
of.
been gay for?
I know, right? Well, like, I didn't even choose this. It just happened to me. And I, like, my biggest question here is I was raised Protestant, and I really didn't find connection with, like, Jesus and God until I kind of started running into this, like, early success. But then I saw how everyone's, like, shitting on Protestants. And then I also was introduced to, like, Gnosticism when I saw like all this esoteric stuff, and I wanted to see what your take is on like not falling into like that Gnostic trap, and like because is at the end, is it Jesus, like you find out all this stuff is real but like it's still
Yeah.
like Jesus at the end, like, so that's my question.
Yeah, well, first of all, anytime you hear the word Gnostic, it is a trap because all of it is missing teachings. So 90% of it is fluff. Fluff, by the way, can ruin your life. If you ever want to know why someone jumped off a bridge and killed themselves, it's because they had too much fluff. Maybe their dating advice, the person they're dating, they received too much fluff. They got, heartbroken. They jumped off a bridge. Same with people who get too much fluff in the fitness industry, right? Like you tell someone to eat rice and chicken, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm fat forever. What the fuck?" And then that's too much fluff. Whereas if you tell them, "Hey, if you increase fiber, if you eat 1 gram per pound of your weight protein, you're gonna feel satiated. Dieting is gonna be fun again." That's not fluff. That's something that you can use to go to your fitness goals. Fluff is what kills people in religion too. When there's too much just bullshit, hearsay, stupid shit. So anytime you hear the word Gnostic, Besides Steiner, it's always fucking trash. It's stupid. Trust me on that. Same with a lot of, there's like, you'll know something's fluff because it has hundreds of millions of views. I'll say it like that. It's always like the gate. Like, oh, I'm getting into making editing videos, and it's a bunch of fluff. And then later you find a channel that edits like a professional for maybe 10 minutes. They get that edit done in 10 minutes, right? Way faster than that fluff shit you used to watch. Fluff is going to ruin your life. So if you ever think like, well, I'm a Protestant, first of all, what is the difference from a Protestant, a Catholic, and the Orthodox? Is the Orthodox focus on the Father, the Protestant focuses on the Holy Spirit, and the Catholic focuses on the Son. So they're all technically correct in their own way, although Catholics have all of it, right? Because we do have to focus on the Son. Actually, think about you approaching death as you get older. You're living out, right, the Jesus initiation. So everyone on earth has something deeply, deeply, profoundly linked to the Christ, right? Everyone, not Muhammad, not Buddha, not the Christ. Everyone on earth, you close your eyes, you'll see the cross, okay? Just look through your nose, you'll see the cross. You are crossed to your own flesh, your own body, your own karmic. Look in the mirror, you'll see what you accumulated. Your body, you're going to die. Every human on earth is going to die. Every second you're dying, actually. Every time you feel any sense impressions is a mini death. You can't stop dying. Now, death, it's not something we focus on in some kind of bleak gothic way, right? It's something we focus on in how do you approach the death drive, the fear of death. And it's like, that's what the Christ is here to tell you, how to approach this, how to purify yourself, how to move on with yourself finally. And you're going to realize, might take you a long time, might take you many times, but you're going to realize, oh, it's not just teachings, it's what he did for us. But the teachings are immensely important. I mean, you ever want to cut out the bullshit in your life? You can give someone scripture, and here's the problem. If they focus on more abstract parts, they could ruin their life, right? If you give the Bible to someone who knows what it's about, they can use it as an engineering tool of their life. But if you give someone the Bible, like Protestants, they love saying, here, just read it on your own, no professional helping you, that could really harm you in a very bad way. Like, you could be those idiots who get punched in the face and think you're supposed to turn the other cheek. That's only for a karmic binding, like your astral body. Basically, someone insults you, you insult them back, now you're linked to them. But if you don't want to be locked to them, just keep letting them insult you and ignore them, pretty much. That's turning the other cheek. It doesn't mean you're getting fucking jumped on the streets and you don't swing back. What the fuck? So when you Protestants come to me and say, hey, the Catholic Church explaining everything, now we're going to do it in our own way. I don't play with that. I get accused a lot of being Albanian. So, being close to that Italian Catholic energy, it's like, oh, you're following your blood. It's like, no, I'm following the oldest church, period. Okay, I'm not just picking my ancestors and Skenderbeg and Albanian Catholics in my history. I'm not just following that. It's great it lined up that way. And you got to remember that it's like being a Protestant, you're on one step of the ladder, right? Being an Orthodox, another step. Being a Catholic, maybe 100 steps higher than that. Shit like that. It's not like there's a wrong answer. The wrong answer is only there if you don't do research. When you do research, the right answer always shows. You'll know which church to go to, and then you're going to realize that there's something beyond the church where your meditations, your concentration practice of your intentional suffering every day, and your prayer at night, all of this link into you becoming your own shaman. You have to be your tribe leader. There's people counting on you. All of this is real spirituality, which it looks like psycho-spiritual. It looks like just psychology at the end of the day. But you're going to realize that it's like, oh shit, you can talk about rituals all day. There's an inward prayer that lasts from your meditation, concentration to your prayer at the end of the day. all day. Yeah, you can. You know, I could run around, be a good comedian, but those people are faggots. You understand that I'm here for Earth evolution. I'm not just here to laugh. Now, there's millions and millions of dollars laughing, but at the end of the day, you'll be like Kevin Hart. You know, he's a good guy, karmically ripened. He's got everything. But at the end of the day, it's like, do you want to be Kevin Hart? Does anyone want to trade shoes with him? Right? With his little short incarnation? It's not really. We want to evolve ourselves. You don't want to be Gary chasing around a billionaire, shit like that. So I answer it from every single angle. And I want to see a $500 donation right now.
Hey,
Hey
Zherka.
Zerka, I got a question, bro. Hey
Hit
Zerka,
me.
I got a question, bro. And dude, you should start streaming again because this shit is
Well,
kind of
who do
whack
you
right
guys
now.
who do you
But I'll
guys
say
even
this:
watch?
I don't watch nobody. I just read your
There's
tweets
no
when you
one to
tweet about
watch,
esoteric
bro.
shit. Now listen, Zerka. My dad died earlier this year. What does it mean esoterically in Rudolf Steiner's shit? Also, dude, I was reading this like when you were talking about Kamaloka and like purgatory. At my job, well, I got fired from this one job, but it was talking about some other shit you talked about. I guess that's connected to like Kamaloka. It's called like Sam Sarah, where we fucking watch us like some AI tiny shit. And it's like Sarah's like Wheel of Life and like the Tibetan. Like, bro, I made the most money I was ever making like 2024, bro. I made like almost 10K and shit, like consistently. And I was listening to like every day just to get in that zone. I was taking my shit. I'm like in the right now. That's what Harry something to there.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's great.
Bro.
And see, we're not sneako, bro. People go up with us. But to answer your big question about your father passing, my condolences. Everyone say it in the chat. But
Appreciate you, bro.
that is huge because it's not never just think, oh, that's happening to just me. I know this is gonna sound wild, but your dad is real, and I'm not gonna make it sad because all humans are
I'm not even
eternal.
sad about
So
it.
I'm not. I'm
I'm
not gonna
yeah,
make
that's what
it.
I'm
I'm
saying.
not even gonna make it a big deal because all humans are eternal. We get sad about the time we miss out on, but eventually everyone meets each other on the other side. 100,000% guaranteed. That's not no fucking snake oil. That's not no hope. That's not no. Oh, he's selling me hope. That's recorded throughout history. Everyone knows this. Every master knows this. And you
Zerka.
and let me tell you this right now, okay? Your dad has an incarnation task too. So you shouldn't immediately think what it has to do with you because he wants to develop his soul too, just like all of us. So if it was his time to go for his own thing, it's a great thing cosmically. For your life, it's rough, but cosmically, it's a great thing. You shouldn't think that it's just happening to you when your dad is. He's a free being too, right? And he's going in the same evolutionary stairwell as you. He's going upward, right? But 100% always death comes with a balancing process, like a severe balancing process, right? And it's always to do with the fact that their soul is moving on, right? This is the perfect time for them to go. It all makes sense on the other side, not here. But also, if you ever see someone, let's say in a war zone, they lose their whole family, that's a different case. But that one, when it's things like that, like your whole family got bombed in a war zone, this is called a aggressive balancing process. And eventually, all souls say, "I'm glad it went that way," which is fucked up to say, but it's a balancing process. So I got a lot of flack for someone saying there was this guy online. There's a chance that this could have just happened independently. That happens, but most of the time, if someone's killed, if someone's kid gets stabbed to death, it's usually linked to the same impulses that influence their kid getting stabbed to death in a previous time where they stabbed someone else's kid to death, right? But if it was like a natural death, your father passing, I don't know how it went. The first,
It
yeah.
was it was it was not. I want to say this because it's very funny about like the timeline with it. So like I was watching you 2023 when you blew up, and like I remember you were dancing in the checkered floor, like hinting at like Freemasonry and playing the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I got into like some Red Hot Chili Peppers shit during that time. And then I moved in with my dad because my mom kicked me out and shit. But then like I was depressed for a long time. Like my brother got lost and shit. Like I guess he like ran away from home type shit. But we like had to go like across the country and
Oh,
found
you
him and
did
shit.
that?
But
You
then I
went
started
and
making
found
money.
him?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you
Me and my dad,
so
me
you
and my dad went across the
completed a
country.
massive family incarnation task. You found your brother, you saved him. And
Yeah, we
you
found him and
you
we found him.
completed that
Me
with
and my
your
dad found
dad.
him.
That's huge.
Yeah, with
That's
my
huge.
dad. But it was like around I was like the summer 2023 when you were blowing up
That
in like
that
the Bradley Martin podcast. I was
my
like,
dude, that's huge. That's huge because there's
this
many
is something,
people.
I need you again. But listen, bro. Listen, I want. So then I started making money. When you were like, oh, you're being-
Yeah, I'll just say that that it's huge when someone tells me
listen,
they found their missing brother with their dad when usually most people just go back to college. The biggest regrets in your life, your little brother goes missing, you have to go find him, but nah, mom, dad, I can't do that. I have to go to college. Everyone messages me. They're like, yeah, but I got to be successful. I had to abandon my brother. I had to. And I'm like, dude, look closely in your incarnation tasks as soon as you're popping off, where your treasure is, your heart will be tested. So as soon as you're popping off, immediately you're going to be tested there. And I know that sounds brutal, like that's the worst part of life. You can say it's the worst part of life, but I think you getting straight A's in college is faggot shit. I think you should go find your brother, right? So most humans don't complete these tasks, and this is how alcoholism starts, right? They bury it in their subconscious, and they can't. It eats away at them inside. They can't be intimate with the girlfriend. They can't do shit. They can't feel inward nothing. All they feel is pain, and I come from a family where, I come from a strange family where we would go to Antarctica for each other. We're not like the most loving in a fucking home sense movie channel, right? We're not like those flamboyant rainbow kind of families you'll see on TV, but we'll go to the ends of the universe. Every one of my family, including me, have sacrificed our degrees, our college, our money, our careers to go save someone in our home. All of us have been tested. We all passed, and none of us even know that we passed. I'm the only one who keeps up with all this stuff, but we're instinctive like that. You look at the average American family, this is like a black pilling thing, but 90% of families actually just you go to college, you abandon your little brother. And and it's crazy because there's a lot of quotes that come out like, well, my little brother got lost because he was fucking his life up, and you can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved, so I abandoned him. And I'm like, yeah, but what do you gain out of I'm telling you, there's nothing you can gain. No degree, no house, no car, no money. There's nothing you can gain without you looking back and saying, damn, on Earth evolution, I didn't go for my own brother. I went back in the rat race. And this stuff's gonna happen to you time and time again. I get people message me like, "Oh, I have to take care of a family member." I'm like, "Dude, you're the only one doing it. That's huge. Like everyone else abandoned the mission. The people you unconsciously love on Earth, like your family, you consciously chose them when they were friends. The people you consciously chose last lifetime become unconscious love patterns. Do you get it? That everyone chose their family, every single one of them, right? You come from a family of five, you chose that. You guys come in together, souls come in together. And something that's going to blow you away even further than this is because that one's kind of intuitive. People can get on board with that. But a lot of people who follow my channel and defend me in every comment section and feel that it's their need to just take down anyone who talks shit about me. They have to defend me. They're cult like. Those people have been with me for lifetimes and lifetimes as followers. in different ways, in different shit, and maybe political structures in this and different societal structures. But those guys who you see defend the shit out of the streamer, they're linked. It's like town square, right? And now it feels different because it's on the internet, but it's not. It would be the same jokes, it'd be the same people, the same kind of crazy behavior. And the more you notice this, the more you're going to open your bundles of nerves, your heart chakra to the world. You're going to be like, what the hell? I don't just incarnate with my family, but I come with the followers, the friends, the cousins, yeah, these souls come down together. They choose experiences together for the most meaning. So if you miss out on anything that has immense meaning for a college, you're going to hate your life. You're going to send me death threats because I said this. But yeah, I'm not here to just. Yeah, everyone says Zherka made me so much money. Well, that's not the only thing I do for people. You know, we're here for way more than just money. Okay, and if anything,
So
the money thing comes from you guys just becoming luckier. Yeah, you can become a luckier human being very easily, right? If you get someone to get into good shape and a good sleeping routine with no electronics, you will get luckier. Do you really think your health is not linked to your luck, you idiot? Look in your past. It's an auric thing. It's tied to aura. So if you know how like the generic advice in public is like get fit and all that kind of like yeah, six pack shortcuts and get fit and all. If they explain to you the immense benefits outside of just looking and feeling a little better, dude, you would be running 1,000 miles a day. You'd be like, what the fuck? Another thing, a lot of people think laziness is just oh, it's just chemicals, molecules. It's just me being sloth. Like it's no, it's actually laziness builds satanic forces in you, and I'm using the word satanic. I'm not using any other word. That's the darkest force, by the way. So laziness over time accumulates more and more. Some of you are on 7-year laziness cycles, right? If you've ever walked into a Walmart and saw a bunch of exhausted people who look tired and unemployed, they are exhausted from their previous incarnation. Now, a lot of people have paid me big money for one on one advice. They immediately snap into conscious behavior as soon as they hear that. As soon as they go, whoa, I'm that exhausted from my last incarnation because I've been missing the mark, sinning that hard, been fucking up. As soon as people realize, whoa, I came into Earth evolution tired, people panic and immediately start busting ass, running around, doing labor, weightlifting, everything, because they go, whoa, I got a bad start because of my attitude, right? And does that mean in the first day that they do everything, all their tasks? No. If you ever see a truly successful person, how they get it going is like 10 minutes a day, next day 20, next day 30, next day 40. Only satanic failures will go do a 3-hour workout immediately because that's not the spirit of light doesn't permeate your body and your soul uh all at once. It pours into you slowly, right? Doesn't mean you don't go hard in the middle of it, right? Like let's say after 30 days you're in the middle of a 60-day cycle, let's say. But I'm saying little by little that shit builds up, right? It's momentum. The reason you keep failing is you're biting off more than you can chew every time, and it's building more satanic dark forces in you. Like, I can't do this. Every thought has to become an ideal. Every workout has to be the best workout ever. Doesn't mean you injure yourself, but it means that's how much attention is put onto it. Same with your studying and all that. And you're going to see little by little that your will that's been asleep starts to wake up. You start to shake off the demons off your body and you start to freak the fuck out. You start to go, whoa, but I was making so much money, but I was being lazy. Oh, no, no, that's not good. If you're making money, but you're lazy, that's not good, right? It has to balance out, right? Your fitness has to balance out with your money. I think it's a better life to be fit, making, let's say, a little less than to be making more, but always wondering why you feel like shit, right? We need electricity in the blood, dude. And you got to really look in the mirror and say, have I ever really been healthy for longer than a few weeks? And some of you guys, not even a few days. But I'm telling you right now, you got to say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to be healthy for 1 year straight. And by healthy, I don't mean just like generic fucking shit. I mean like a hunter lifestyle. Like you eat berries and steak. You eat real food again, right? You don't eat processed shit. You don't do none of that stuff that tires you. And I'm not talking about tiring you. I'm talking about stuff that tires your soul, that binds in your stomach, your metabolism. That inferno inside you is the cosmos. It's the stars. Yeah, spiraling. You don't want to clog that shit up. You want that shit glowing, sparkling, turning every lever in your being. Okay? You want to breathe from your nose. You want to see your jawline. You want to see your face structured against gravity, not sloping and just falling apart because you're playing video games all day. Right? You want to see every cell in your body pull in oxygen. And over time, you're going to realize, oh shit, it is 8 billion against me. Every advertisement is against you. Like a lot of you guys don't realize the junk food you eat, it's not because you're hungry. It's because you have tentacles on your desire body. It's out of whack. It's out of control. That's not good. Now, if you have extreme desires to conquer, that's great. You can channel that. But if you have desires for Cheez-Its and Doritos, dude, I don't care how fit you are. That stuff should not be in your stomach. The cosmos of your metabolism, the stars, the cosmos inside out is inside of you, inside your flesh. You are the cosmos. And you want to clog that up just because satanic forces says you can have some Doritos. What? Are you serious? You want the government to win over you? And remember, the government, it's not like just evil people making this food to slow you down and get you trapped in matter. It's unconscious people being pulled by the dead. If you've ever been unconscious on alcohol, let's say, your blood vessels open up, the dead go inside of you, and they make you do stuff that's not you, but you allowed them in. And they float in you like fish. And those same dead forces, satanic forces, they work with the government to make sure you eat those fucking Cheetos. Those unconscious workers don't know they're harming you. But those satanic spirits, they need you trapped in matter. They love it. They feed off it.